Welcome back to the Kaspa Silver YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm going to be covering some recent news topics that have happened in the past few weeks regarding Kaspa. So first, let's go ahead and take a look at some statistics like always. So first off, Kaspa is currently hovering at about 18 cents. It's up 6% today with the current volume sitting at $80.7 million in the past 24 hours. And the market cap right now is sitting at $4.34 billion. This puts us at a current ranking at about number 25. The current supply of Kaspa is currently sitting at 24.1 billion, and the percent mined is equivalent to 84.31%. The current hash rate is sitting at 412 petahashes, with the highest hash rate being 440 petahashes, which is absolutely insane. The current reward for Kaspa is currently sitting at 98 Kaspa per block. The next reward is going to be 92 Kaspa per blocks, and that's going to be happening within the next 20 days. And the current transactions per second are currently only sitting at about 1, with the BPS currently sitting also at about 1. The active addresses is closely approaching 400,000 active addresses, and you can also see here that the max transactions per second is 768 TPS, and this was because of the recent KRC20 launch that did have to be postponed because of the issues that it was causing. But you could see that during that day we were hitting at about 1.5 million transactions, which is really insane. And also on that day, the active addresses were sitting at about 55,000. If we're looking at the public nodes, we can also see here that public nodes are currently sitting at around over 400 public nodes, which is really nice to see this continuously growing. There's nodes running across the whole entire world. If we're looking at Kaspalytics, we could see that the inactive supply had a recent drop, but still sitting at about 63.40% of the supply not moving within the last 3 months. If we're looking at 6 months here, it's sitting at 42%. If we're looking at 1 year, it's at 20%, and 2 years is sitting at 5% of the supply not moving within the last year. So really, really good to see that there's just a lot of holding happening within Kaspa. Pretty much anyone who is selling is pretty much the new coins that are coming into circulation by miners. This was a post made by Elper saying that the Kasplex docs were recently updated, and what was interesting was that they added more tickers on the reserve list, meaning that people cannot make tokens related to these tickers. And some of these things that were on here were USDT, you have USDD, you have TUSD, you have looks like other stablecoin ticker symbols for like gold and stuff like that. So it's really interesting to see here that these are the reserved lists, meaning that they may be anticipating for these coins that already exist, these tokens that already exist, to maybe come to Kaspa. And the big one being is Tether USDT. That is something that is really anticipated to be seen built on Kaspa. Next we have here was Liberated Potato was showcasing that he could fully sync a Kaspa mainnet Golang node on mobile. He was using this mobile device and was able to sync a Kaspa node to it, which is just further showing that pretty much anyone can run a node. Even a tablet can run a Kaspa node. So Kaspa is so node friendly, it can run on mobile. It didn't even take that long to fully sync. So really cool to see the capability of the Kaspa nodes. Shai had a meeting with Kasplex because they are currently in a delay of KRC20. There's really no official start date of when that's going to start up again. And I'm really hoping that they don't give an official date, because it's best to make sure that everything is done correctly. I'll leave the link to this post down below in the description if you want to read what was talked about in this meeting with Shai. But pretty much Shai is just helping out Kasplex to make sure that the next launch for the beta will go very smoothly and there will not have to be a delayment in KRC20. Also, what recently happened this past week was that there was a R&D meeting that happened last week with Hashtag, which is the founder of Kaspa, known as Jonathan, and they were talking about smart contracts. You can actually tune in to this meeting. It was about 2 hours, and this is on the Kaspa Currency YouTube channel. you can go ahead and watch the whole meeting there. It was very, very technical, but they did get into smart contracts and start discussing how that might look on Kaspa. Something we have here from Rapid Mining was that supposedly this is a picture of a KS0 Ultra being overclocked, and you could see that it's hitting about 709 gigahashes after 30 minutes. And currently, the KS0 Ultra is only doing 400 gigahashes. So if this can possibly get to 700, that would be really good for the people who invested into KS0 Ultras, especially with the hash rate recently just skyrocketing. If you're able to overclock your Ultras, then that might be very, very good for it. Another thing I wanted to mention was that I am working with this user on X who is behind making public solo nodes for solo mining initiative in America. He's made some solo nodes that you can connect your miners to if you want to solo mine. And recently, people have been trying to get this set up with KNG, and I'm personally trying to figure out how to make this work. So far, I've been able to figure out how to get KNG and the bridge to work with Ice River, but now currently we're going to start working on Gold Shell, and I offered to help test the Gold Shell miners because this user doesn't have any to test to make sure that it can solo mine as well. So hopefully I'll be able to figure out exactly how to solo mine on Ice River and Gold Shell miners so I can make a dedicated video showing you guys how to solo mine. I know you guys do want that video. Another post here from Shai saying, interesting KAS alpha for you guys. One of the initiatives I'm working hard to promote just sent me a very interesting proposal to set up a new industry. I can't reveal the entities involved just yet, but let's just say they go well beyond the crypto bubble. Expect exciting announcements in the following weeks. So this was just a post that Shai made that he's basically just been in the talks with big players that want to get involved with Kaspa. It looks like wants to create another type of foundation. You could see that the key initiatives here are going to be Kaspa Enterprise Accelerator, support for businesses adopting Kaspa, regulatory roundtables, regular discussions with regulatory bodies, Kaspa innovation grants, research partnerships, and tokenization sandbox. So develop and test asset tokenization protocol. So pretty much some big players seriously want to get involved with Kaspa and just make it go mainstream. We don't have official news of who these big players are, but Shai said that he was able to post this with permission and just kind of tease at us that things are happening in the background. So it is really, really good to see that Kaspa continuously is getting adopted by big players. Here I have an account known as Kaspa Dex that supposedly is going to be making a DEX for the KRC20 ecosystem. And this pretty much was created very recently. They joined in June of 2024, have not posted much about this. So I am skeptical to trust this, but they did say that they have been hiring people and that there'll be more information about the rollout of Kaspex in the following months. Also, another user made this video showing that he's also making a DEX aggregator for KRC20, and this also will take a few months. He says here, yes, but it would probably take 3 months to have production ready code if I'm the only person working on it. So far it looks like he's the only person working on this, but people are trying to make DEXs for Kaspa to support KRC20 tokens, because supposedly in the documentation of KRC20, there is already support for swaps so that you could swap KRC20 tokens back into Kaspa itself. So really good to see that people are already trying to work on this. Next, we have Kaspa Currency here announcing that there's a Rusty Kaspa workshop. This is going to be mainly for developers, but you could see Michael Sutton here says, if you read Rust and you find UTXO DAG processing interesting, please join us. Note that basic prior knowledge and some familiarity with the arcade code base is assumed. So this is more of a technical meeting, but it is really good to see that Kaspa is doing more of these meetings and having them more public so that other developers from other ecosystems might get interested in Kaspa and want to tune in and see if they can come and join the Kaspa community and start helping with future development. So that's pretty much all I have for you guys for recent news topics that have been happening with Kaspa. I hope you guys did enjoyed that video. If you guys want to consider getting yourself a Ledger device, I do have a referral link down below that will allow us to both receive $10 in Bitcoin if you use it, but you can pick up the Ledger Nano S Plus or the Ledger Nano X. I personally have the S Plus because it is cheaper and works perfectly. I also have a video showing you guys how you can use Ledger and connect it with KAS Vault so that you can store your Kaspa offline and off exchanges. It is very important that you are storing your Kaspa offline, because if you do hold it on exchanges, they have all authority over your funds, and if the exchange goes down for any kind of reason, goes bankrupt, you pretty much lose your funds for good or for a very, very long time. So please make sure that you guys are looking into cold storage solutions to store your Kaspa safely. Thank you guys again for watching. Please leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new around here, and as always, don't be average, be different.